The Chris Tucker that we got now is Epstein Island Chris Tucker.
You don't think they asked Chris Tucker to?
The Chris exhaust that we got now is Epstein Island Chris exhaust. You don't think they request that Chris exhaust return the second in the second Friday. Chris exhaust might have delighted in distinction greater than Will Smith nowadays, yet seems as though he's seen enough of Hollywood treatment and chose to stop the enormous stage to reside in poise. Even new jobs and millions in compensation couldn't compel him to proceed, and with his unexpected flight, he left fans examined. Assuming he knew a lot of, we've seen too many evaporating acts in the realm of dark jokesters, very much like Feline Williams, yet Exhaust's story is far more evil. And no big surprise he chose to unveil the genuine justification for why he ghosted Hollywood in this new detailed account talk. Legitimate about things have occurred in your life, tell the truth about charge issues, things like that will be that still what individuals can expect that you are. I discuss it all I at last PID, they yet off see. Chris has shown up in our all-time most loved films, yet his Hollywood star was never intended to sparkle, as he admitted the business games and requests were a lot for himself, and he began to want to lose himself. That you realize it ain't just about me being the greatest comic or entertainer on that planet, it's tied in with becoming someone to provide for the world, to rouse in some sort of manner ideally. So I like that I did that when his notorious film Friday hit performance centers in '95. Chris and the group transformed it into a social peculiarity, rounding up millions and establishing his status as a bona fide star with his breakout job as Smokey. He truly shot into the stratosphere of popularity and made himself a little fortune and AMIG name anyway, as we probably are aware in Hollywood. Ability isn't the best way to clear your direction to the fame, and Exhaust appears to realize this first. You learn quicker cuz you see your family commit errors and like see my siblings get a beat. I'm similar to what you do. God 1997 was the year that made a huge difference for Chris. Exhaust 1, as well as 3 blockbuster stirs things up around town component Cash Talks and Jackie Earthy Colored Exhaust, was the encapsulation of Hollywood style warming up to the Blairs. For example, Jamie Foxx discussing Foxy once focused on how Exhaust's abrupt ascent left him feeling some sort of way during a sincere visit on The Late Show with Steven Spielberg. Well, the murmurs regarding Jamie Foxx being a Hollywood sellout have been waiting for a very long time, and it began to feel like Chris Exhaust was going to take his star and take everything for himself. You realize these industry games dominate the quickest and most consistent take everything, and evidently Jamie Foxx multiplied down on his endeavors to turn into the best dark fella in the business. Don't you need the opportunity to likewise sort of add him? No, yet Chris Exhaust out of nowhere stopped acting after the movie that gave him gigantic distinction and monetary progress. In a meeting with The Morning Bring in 2001, he examined about enjoying some time off from Hollywood. The entertainer uncovered that he was offered various jobs at that point, yet didn't find any of them sufficiently fascinating to return to Lee. This disclosure profoundly affected his fans, causing them to understand that it wasn't necessary to focus on the jobs. The hypothesis that something vile could be going on behind the captivating entryways of Hollywood became stronger. Lastly, Chris himself chose to talk with regards to this issue, the detail. So that was such a lot of tomfoolery and that's such a lot of information, and finding out about that Hollywood can be a whimsical spot where even the greatest names are getting obliterated in a second. Yes, Exhaust was composing high on progress with offers pouring in from each course anyway. In the background, he was feeling suffocated, presumably on the grounds that with each job there was another interest coming. Dislike we don't know anything about the obscure side of Hollywood and how they treat dark entertainers there. And obviously Chris would have rather not turned into an industry slave like numerous others before him. Some named him as fussy, while others saw it as a disobedience to the framework. The fact of the matter was Hollywood couldn't see past his skin variety, offering him cliche jobs. Honestly, Exhaust was playing a dangerous match in an industry known for its relentless nature. Hollywood misses with control, inclining toward entertainers who fit their shape yet not entirely set in stone to break free in spite of the achievement vital that independence from the rat race. Possessing something, a piece of something that was one of different pieces of the film that I truly cherished. So yes, With their offending offers, Hollywood had exhaust feeling caught, so he took a thinking for even a moment to action and ventured back as opposed to pursuing acclaim and fortune. He decided to remain consistent with his standards, and that is the reason his fans regard him. Even one individual remarked he's a more brilliant person than he's given credit for. I didn't understand how much jobs he turned down. Had he taken a portion of those, he'd have been greater than Will Smith. Yet others call attention to additional evil reasons of Chris' takeoff from Spotlight, and one web client composed he was additionally on EPAN flight log. Perhaps he's seen something that he could have done. One without and moved as distant from Hollywood as conceivable. Exhaust appeared not entirely settled to work for himself, declining to be a mannequin on a string. Yet castration in Hollywood is only a fantasy. It's a genuine article that numerous celebrities had encountered to every other person I surmise felt the same way, cause everyone was right on track, yet dissimilar to a significant number of the individuals who embarrassed themselves consistently for jobs in distinction. Exhaust wasn't going to let Hollywood cut him down. He remained consistent with himself in any event. When it implied turning down large jobs and surprisingly greater aggregates, it was his own resistance to the framework, which he has never spoken about before even Ice 3D Square, who was behind the creation of Next Friday, shared. You'll hear 1,000 unique stories, yet we needed to pay him $12 million to do that film, and he turned it down. And people, when you hear the narratives occurring behind the shutways to dark entertainers, there's no more. Can't help thinking about why Exhaust needed, and get this, purportedly Hollywood elites were dealt with dealing with their entertainers like gesture in a middle-aged court, who preferable to spill the tea over Chris Exhaust himself, who once wound up acting dumb before. In all honesty, Bill Clinton, he welcomed me to Africa, man, he welcomed me. He said, Exhaust, you need to go to Africa with me. I think you like it. I couldn't say whether you heard the story currently yet, when a rising Hollywood star Chris Exhaust was going with Clinton and Jeffrey Epstein on a legendary excursion to Africa. It might sound exciting, yet truth be told, the entertainer later let the cat out of the bag. All in all experience, and we should simply say it wasn't all daylight and rainbows. Clearly he didn't actually have any idea whose fly he had loaded up, in light of the fact that he was tricked there deceptively. His name was even connected to nauseating figure Epstein in his island, and Chris needed to guard his honor, denying truly being there. No, I don't have the foggiest idea where that thing that we were going to Africa to save resides, yet stand by it. Deteriorates. Exhaust's outing with Clinton wasn't just about left when the two of them uncovered as Epstein's island guest. You knew Jeffrey Epstein, didn't you? Know, I did. Appears as though somebody needed to rebuff Exhaust for picking respectability over cash, and when you figure it couldn't get any more insane for him, the entertainer's life takes a sensational turn. In 2005, he's busted for speeding like a neurotic in Georgia, getting started at an incredible 109 m in his Bentley. The circumstance raises, landing him with charges and fines. His life turned into a colossal thrill ride, with many inconveniences in his funds and vocation. Regardless of enjoying some real success on the achievement train, Exhaust was managing a few significant monetary strains, despite the fact that he was battling returning to acting. Was, as of now, not a choice. I said, this is over, I'm not bringing in no cash, about to wreck my film cash. In 2010, sensationalist newspapers started dropping the bombs that Exhaust owes the IRS a stunning $9.6 million in neglected charges. He was confronting a claim from the IRS guaranteeing the comic owes charges that date back to 2002. Seems like his Hollywood profit reached a conclusion. Exhaust couldn't make installments in time, as the claim read, notwithstanding notice and interest for installment of the evaluations set out above. Mr.